Okay. Hi, my name is Jenny. I live in New Jersey, but I'm currently here in Nevada with my friend Natalie. I come visit her back and forth, and when I'm here, we usually go on investigations together with her team. And I didn't think that was something that I would like, but actually, that's a lie. I definitely knew that would be something I liked, because when she asked me to go on investigations, there was this certain excitement that I really haven't felt in a really long time. And I don't know, it's because it's just mysterious, it's just something different. But then once I've really thought about it, I really feel like it's just something that I actually really wanted to do for a really long time. And then my friend just happened to be blessed and actually be able to do something like this. Like, who gets to investigate the paranormal? Like, you see that stuff on television. Anyways, so clearly I've never done this before, but I'm really excited that I have an opportunity to actually tell somebody, even though I'm really just talking to a phone right now, about experiences that I had and that would led me to do something like this with Natalie. Clearly I'm just an amateur. I go on just to observe, to help the team members do what they're doing. You know, they have their equipment, I'm trying to learn the equipment, and I'm trying to, help them, and they're giving me pointers, and I'm really grateful for that, because it's not something that you can just really learn online or whatever. You need experience. So I've been blessed to be able to do this for the last year with her. We've been friends since forever, honestly, and it's kind of strange that it's taking us this long to figure out something that we're both pretty passionate about. I guess it's something that you're not supposed to really talk about. I grew up very religious, so in the Bible says, don't talk to freaking psychics, don't fucking do this, don't do that. But growing up, you have these things, but I'm an adult and I do like these things, and it's stuff that sparks my curiosity and I want to learn more. And so, I know I'm rambling, but I've probably been always interested in this since I was really young. I was born in '84. You can do the math of how old I am. But I've always watched Unsolved Mysteries as a really young child. Formative years is when I watched Unsolved Mysteries, and when they're based on a true story, I really thought it was true. The ghost stories, the alien stories, the people that can move things across the room. I was like, that's real to me. And then growing up religious, where they're saying there's a God and there's an invisible being that's watching over us, I've always felt like I've had a spiritual connection, or I've had some kind of common thing that made me feel good with knowing that there's something more in the universe. I not just Unsolved Mysteries, but even in 5th grade when I was younger, I had this really crazy trip where, not an acid trip or anything, but a legit field trip, where we were taken to a university, and it was a 2-day field trip for the enrichment class. And we were taught about ESP, we were taught about telekinesis, we were taught about ghosts, they taught us about the different dimensions that are in the world. I never learned that in class, but all of a sudden I'm learning on a field trip with a select group of kids, and it was all just to sell a haunted house. And I was like, there's people talking to me face to face about this stuff, when growing up in the religion that I was in, that was something not to talk about. So that was interesting, and it sparked my curiosity, because you always kind of want to go against what people tell you not to do. So that's how it started. And then I just remember going to school, going into the library, looking up ESP, looking up telekinesis, looking up orbs, photocopying the stuff and putting them in between my actual work, and then in class reading that stuff instead of actually doing my homework. And that happened around middle school. And then, I don't even know how I got here. But anyway, so then I had an experience. I was lucky enough to be chosen to go to Korea when I was 19 years old to do some kind of like nunchuck video. But in the meantime, part of the nunchuck video was to do these breathing exercises. And those breathing exercises we did every single day. And then finally I got to a point where I was almost, not mastering it, but I was getting to another level where I would actually astral project and I could see myself in the dojo, taking a nap, blah, 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 whatever. Anyways, I've never experienced that in my life. So that made me kind of like addicted to like, know there's something more than just the reality that we're in. So I knew that my dream state would bring me somewhere else. That happened, and then maybe like 2 years later, I had finally an actual paranormal experience where I was living in a house. I moved plenty of times growing up. So I moved in this one house where I was sleeping on the couch and I woke up because I felt something. So I woke, it wasn't like a paralysis. It was more like I was woken up and I like opened my eyes a little bit and I saw a figure literally just looking down at me. And then I was like, is this like, because we had guests over, so I was like, is this just like a fucking freaky person coming and looking down at me? And then I realized it clearly wasn't that. It was someone looking down and just staring at me. I would even like close my eyes, I would squint and I would like look up and they were still there. And I was petrified. I had fear in me. And then I just finally like fell asleep. I woke up the next day and I told my mom, I was like, listen, I don't know if someone came down the stairs and was looking at me while I was sleeping on the couch, or it was actually like some kind of entity. And then she like broke down and she was like, honestly, there was somebody that used to live in the house. Well, first of all, let me backtrack. She used to always get headaches in that house. And then in her room, it had like a huge like dome window, and then a bird would fly through and like literally crack the window, and then obviously it would get cold. And I'm like, Mom, you're getting cold because of the bird that crashed in the window. Now the cold air is coming in. She's like, no, Jenny, I'm getting headaches. And then she told me that the real estate agent, when they rented out the house, they mentioned that someone hung themselves in the closet, in the walk-in closet in her bedroom. So then she was saying, is that maybe the person that you saw? I go, I have no idea. It looked like I don't know. It just, anyways. So that's like one of the many things that I've like experienced before. So let me backtrack again. I come from a family that's very like religious, and we're not supposed to think that we see spirits. So when I finally saw this spirit, that really made me believe, because I'm not a crazy person, and me telling this story took a lot of guts to say the actual story. That I saw something, a dark figure, looking at me, gave me the frickin' chills. I didn't know what to do, but just to like literally like cocoon and just like, okay, if I close my mind, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, until I woke up the next day and was able to share the story. And I guess that's something that I feel like other people must have experienced. I cannot be the only one. And to be a part of something that can expose that, or make someone feel less crazy or out of place, that's maybe something I feel like I can bring to this show. So I have stories like that where when I have my dreams, I have a figure come in there. The next morning, I freak out, or during the dream, I definitely freak out. I get out of it. Then I talk to whoever's in the house and I go, hey, I had this crazy dream. I don't usually have these dreams. It's not like I have these dreams like every day or every month or whatnot. It's like they're sporadic. But when I do share my story, someone's like, well, actually someone hung themselves in the other room. Or I was at Natalie's house sleeping over and it was scary. I was in one of her rooms and it was dark, but then it got super dark. And I was like, okay, tonight's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to sleep tonight. Then I finally fell asleep. And then in my dream, it was crazy because I would see like this figure like over me. And I'm like, oh, not one of these dreams again. I'm just trying to sleep. You know, like you just get annoyed in those dreams at this point. And like he was just so weird looking. Had like, it was just a black figure, like a silhouette almost, but his head was like not normal shaped. And I was like, that's weird, whatever. Anyways, I wake up the next day. I tell Natalie about the story. And she tells me she just went to Goldfield. And apparently that was like a mining community. And one of the mediums that was with her was like, hey, you brought like 2 or 3 entities with you back home, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And she told me that. And I go, huh, what kind of entities? And she'd be like, well, they must have been like old miners. And I was like, really? That's so strange. Because like, that must have been why the person had like such a weird, maybe it was like a miner hat and I couldn't really like focus in on him because whenever I had these dreams, they're always like dark figures. But like, what are the odds? Like, she didn't tell me that. She tells me the next day after my dream. I don't know. So anyways, there's just things that happen in my life that makes me believe. I'm definitely a believer. There has to be something on the other side. First of all, I believe in God. Like, I look at a flower and I'm like, there's no freaking way that just happened. There's like a creator behind this, right? If there's a creator, there's people behind him. And going with Natalie on these investigations and seeing activity, I know it's not like 100% hard proof, but it's something. And it's like, it makes you feel less like you're crazy because it's real. Something. So hopefully I can bring that to the show that other people have experienced certain things because it's hopefully real. I believe for sure. Again, I'm Jenny from New Jersey. And yeah. I'm an amateur and I would like to learn more for sure. For sure. I am definitely hooked. Definitely hooked.